These are 5 self-help books that have changed my life, and I'm going to share with you why you need to read them and my key takeaways from the perspective of personal branding. One of the first books that I read that absolutely changed my life is Atomic Habits. I know everyone bangs on about it, but I cannot reiterate how this has changed my life and why you need to read this. Now, just in general, Atomic Habits talks about, in essence, how to build habits to build your dream life. Now, the biggest takeaway from here is that consistency builds trust. If you're the type of person that rocks up to work at 8 a.m. every day, I know as a boss that I can book a meeting at 8:30 with full confidence that you're going to be there. From a business owner perspective, I know that if I schedule things into my scheduler for the week, I know that it's going to get done because I have the habit of showing up and getting the work done, and I will work until it is completed. When you show up consistency, you build credibility with other people, with your clients, all of them. Next, branding is a habit. Posting on social media every day is a habit. Going and sitting down every month, planning out a strategy and creating content is a habit. If I wake up every third Wednesday of the month and say today I'm filming content, that's a habit. Atomic Habits teaches you how to build and develop sustainable habit. It's about making small improvements every day. It's about pushing through every day. But it's not about forcing, right? It's about habit stacking. It's about taking a trigger and implementing positive habits. It's also about taking a trigger and removing negative habits. Your day consists of actions, right? Actions come from the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind can be programmed, but in order to create that programming yourself, you have to start with habits, because your habits are the things that you do without conscious awareness. They're your subconscious programming. So developing habits is actually a brain game. And lastly, sustainability over intensity. Atomic Habits is not about fixing your life in 90 days. Well, sort of. It's about what you do every day of those 90 days that builds the momentum. It's about implementing one thing new every day until it becomes a habit, and then adding other things onto that habit to build that habit over time. That's how morning routines are developed. That's how marketing strategies are developed. That is how houses maintain themselves. That is how businesses maintain growth. It's Atomic Habits, first book. If you're looking to build a brand, build a business, or be any what better of a person, first read. Next, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book talks about 3 phases: the internal battle, the external battle, and perfecting the connection. This is a really great book. This book, aligned with another book, is How I Formed the Goal Tuning Method for Planning. This book talks about how you work on the internal world to then reflect that and work with others in the external world, and then strengthen that connection so that everybody wins. My 3 key takeaways from this book: first, define your mission statement. This book will help you define your mission statement. I'm pretty sure it has an online resource where you answer a few questions and it spits it out for you. I did it. It's great. Your brand needs a very clear mission statement. And for a personal brand, that's your personal mission statement. That's what you're trying to achieve in life. That's what you're trying to help people achieve. It has nothing to do with a business. It's about why you show up every day and why you do what you do. Next, be intentional about your story. Be intentional about your narrative. Be intentional about the way that you want people to perceive you. You've done the internal work. You know who you are. And if you don't control that narrative in the external world, it will quickly start to influence the way that you see yourself. If you want a strong personal brand, you have to control the narrative. You have to have a very clear understanding and connection with who you are. Otherwise, it'll fall to shit really quick. Lastly, integrity builds reputation. If you are a type of person that cares about the other people in the room, people want to be in that room with you. If you go into a business negotiation willing to understand what the other person needs or what the other brand needs, and be willing to mold your service and be able to work as a team, that is what's going to put you above the rest. That is how people speak highly of you in rooms that you're not in. So if all of those types of things interest you, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, great book. Next, Own Your Energy. This was actually one of the first books I read with Atomic Habits. This book is for my spiritual girlies that are a little bit woo-woo, but more focuses on the energy. This is about spiritual girls out in the real world. This is about how you protect your energy, how you build your energy, understanding how your energy works. Pretty sure it touches on the chakras. It briefly touches on about like your aura, yeah, and about how people invade your energy. Like if you talk about energy like it's an actual thing, right? If you talk about your aura like it's an actual piece of clothing that you wear and people look at you and go, you're stupid, this is your book. This puts into words what you're trying to articulate to other people, and it will help you articulate it. My 3 key takeaways of this for personal branding: protect your energy. Learn to protect your energy. It's something that I'm still learning to do, but it's so pivotal to your health, to your spiritual well-being, to your brand. Protect your energy. You can't show up if you are drained. This book will teach you how and why and where people drain your energy from and how to protect yourself from that. It's like you can't pour from an empty cup, but an energy perspective, and it articulates it in such a better way. Next, authenticity comes from alignment. Energy is all about frequency. You need to be on the frequency of what you're trying to achieve. You need to be aligned internally, because any low frequencies here, they're just going to project. You can't think high frequency up here but be living in low frequencies. When your work and your values match and you protect your energy and you push your energy and you uplift your own energy, that is how you're going to build a personal brand. That is how you attract people. That is how people will look at you when you walk into a room. You know, all of those people that always talk about, you know, if you walk into a room and people are always looking at you, that's because you have a high frequency. That doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. You have to work on your frequency. You have to learn to love yourself and show up for yourself, and that is how people will feel attracted to you. Which leads me to my last point: high energy attracts the right people. Now, if we're thinking about the frequency of money, if you're operating on a low frequency and you want people to pay you 10 grand, do you really think that's going to work? Do those energies match? No. If you want to attract rich people into your life, you need to have rich person energy. I'm not saying you have to spend heaps of money. What I am saying is that you need to have an abundancy mindset, and you need to live your life with the idea and the frequency that I have abundance of money. I have more money than I need. Money comes and goes. You know, all of those mindset frequencies that are going to attract the same type of people who are willing to pay for your services. Next, start with why. I wish that I read this book first. I wish that this was one of the first books I ever read. It was not. It's actually one of the later books I ever read, and I've had to rehaul my entire personal brand in my life because of this and this book. Right? I read this book and then this book, and completely my life flipped on its head. Like I literally had to go on a sabbatical because my whole life was flipped. I can't explain to you the months that I had to work on myself. This book, it's not a hard read. It's actually like written really well. This book tells you why people do what they do and explains why every business needs to start with their why. Why is a high frequency? Why is an internal battle? Why is the driving force of your habits? Do you see where I'm getting with this? The 3 key takeaways from this book are: a strong why makes your messaging compelling. If you understand your why, you can understand your customers' why. People will only give you money willingly when you can address their why and help them get to the what. If you sell somebody the what, it's really hard to then get them on the why, because that's not the frequency that they're operating on. But if you start with why, how and what just kind of fall into place. And this book has many examples across many different industries about how it has happened in reality. Next, purpose-driven brands attract like-minded audiences. If you can clearly articulate to your audience why you are doing something, you're going to attract people that think the same way as you, that are operating on the same frequency as you. The only way that you're going to get people to pay $15, $20 for shipping is if they know why they're doing it. If I say to you, you need to pay $20 for shipping because we use these expensive materials and, we're on saying that to the customer, I'm not going to pay for it. Gen Zs won't pay for it. But if you communicate, our packaging is $20 because we buy sustainable packaging that is not contributing to blah cause, and our packaging is, we're doing our part to save the planet by using this packaging. Unfortunately, that means that our packaging and our shipping costs $20. People will pay that. They will. I'm telling you, they are paying that. And lastly, knowing why keeps your messaging clear, concise, and consistent. When you know why you are providing a specific service, why you are posting on a particular social media platform, how you're posting and what you're posting is easy. What you're talking about, easy. Because you already know why you're posting. Getting the messaging out, easy. Because the messaging is aligned with what you're actually doing. And for a personal brand, that saves you time and money. It's Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. I read this book, and just as I finished this book, I went and did an NLP course. Everything made sense. When I read a book, I don't know if you can see this, but sorry, Book Talk Girlies, but I read to learn. So when I read this book, I did every single exercise as soon as it came up because I knew that this book was going to change my life, and it did. This book talks about everything that I'm talking about with you in a simplified form with business examples, personal examples, exercises, a clear breakdown. I mean, it's not an easy read. I'm pretty sure this took me months. It is 512 pages long, and it's like small font. If you wanted a textbook for life, this is it. If you want a textbook explaining shit that you don't understand up here, this book is it. Do not read this book if you're not willing to learn. Do not read this book if you don't have an hour to do the actual exercises, because these exercises cut deep. So what are my takeaways from this book for personal branding? You need to do the work. My personal branding bootcamp, my 12-week transformational program that takes you from no idea to like monetizing your brand, the whole first stage is based off this book. The whole, the 12 weeks is broken up into 3 stages. The first stage is about going internally, removing the limiting beliefs, removing the inner programming, installing positive, empowering beliefs so that you can connect with your story, so that you love yourself. All of it is like a very, very brief summary of this book. The key takeaway is that you need to do the internal work. You can't become a better version of yourself. You can't push yourself to a sustainable, better version and, to reach your goals if your inner world is not a reflection of your outer world, or your inner world is causing you the conflict in your outer world. This book, first takeaway, you need to go deep. You need to go in and you need to go deep. My second key takeaway, values and beliefs are different. A value is an opinion formed from experiences over time, and they're typically influenced by family, friends, leaders, people that we grow up around. These are typically big level ideas like love, respect, security, all of those types of things. And values are things that we find important because other people have told us that they're important. A belief is an assumption about the world around us, and it's reinforced by experiences and sources of validation, whether they be true or false. Now, our values guide our decisions, they drive our direction. Our beliefs are what push and motivate us. This book teaches you that both of them don't come from us. This book teaches you that both values and beliefs come from external conditioning and they can be changed. This book teaches you how to identify them and how to change them and how to consciously choose them. If you don't consciously choose your values and beliefs, your life will consistently be dictated by other people. You will never feel like your life belongs to you. You will constantly feel like you're running after your kids, that you're making decisions based off other people, that you're putting other people's needs before your own, that you're not living in your purpose, that you have no idea what you're doing, you don't know what you love in life, and you feel like you've lost yourself in the process of life. Start living your life in alignment with values and beliefs that you actually choose. That is how you begin to change your life. The last key takeaway from this book is its take on rules. Rules, I guess you could have likened them to KPIs or goals in business. In this book, they talk about rules as It's all great, well and great to have values, but the way that you dictate if you're living in alignment with those values can limit you. So, for example, I think the example that he uses is like love. If love is a value of yours, how do you know that you are experiencing or living in alignment with love? Most people set themselves up with rules that limit them. They'll be like, I don't feel love unless so and so buys me flowers, or unless so and so gives me a kiss in the morning. Those rules are relying on somebody else's action. You need to pick rules that you are in control of and that you can easily identify. I feel loved when I show myself, when I perform self care. Things that you're in control of and that you can easily identify as having lived that in that day or that moment. In business, it's about setting goals that you can track and setting goals that are achievable for you. Today, I'm going to post 3 times on Instagram. Today is a successful day when I have completed blah, blah, blah. You know, I am successful when I have done blah or I have purchased blah. You have to define your own rules in order to identify your success. Now, if I was going to give you an order to read these books in, this is the order I would do. And I'm doing this on the fly. I don't have any guidance from that. Okay, I would start with own your energy, because energy is everything. It's the vibe you bring to everything. You need the awareness. I would start with own your energy. I would then go to start with why. Start with why is going to give you the pinnacle understanding of the overarching like concepts of understanding. I would then go with Tony Robbins. Start with why is going to give you like a taster of what you're going to reinforce and learn in Awaken the Giant Within. So I would read that one next. Then I would read Atomic Habits, because this is going to fuck up your life. This book is actually going to fuck up your life. So I would read this and then Atomic Habits, so that you can start to rebuild your life in a way that's meaningful and comes from all of this meaning. So fuck up your life, then rebuild it, then get some perspective. This book is going to give you the direction to move forward. Like the inner work, it's going to make a little bit more sense. Once you start to read personal development books, they kind of all have the same sort of sequence, internal, external connection, but it's about the different perspective that the different books bring you that kind of build the puzzle together. So you're going to reread some stuff in this, but this one talks about like business negotiations. This one talks about how to be effective in business type deal. So I would read this one last after you've fucked up your life, rebuilt it, and understand why you're here. If you're interested in personal and professional development, personal branding, energy, and holistic concepts, remember to like, share, and follow. I post every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching.